We stand in the presence of an awakened nation.
The words of Woodrow Wilson, America's 28th president, from Princeton to New Jersey governor to 2 terms in the White House. But despite all his Jersey ties, he wasn't born here. The only president who was, Grover Cleveland. His birthhouse in Caldwell is today a museum. Cleveland served twice as president in the late 1800s. Other New Jerseyans came close. You ever heard of Garrett Hobart? Born in Long Branch, a vice president. In fact, he would have been president when William McKinley was assassinated if he himself had not died 2 years before. Newark's Aaron Burr was Thomas Jefferson's vice president, but his claim to fame would not be the White House, but rather killing Alexander Hamilton in a pistol duel in Weehawken. Elizabeth Winfield Scott could have been president, a hero of the War of 1812. The 1852 race between Scott and Franklin Pierce, Pierce won in a landslide. New Jersey senators have tried to be president, notably Bill Bradley. In 2000, he went after Al Gore for the Democratic nomination, but the one-time basketball star never won a primary. Steve Forbes, Morristown-born, was twice a candidate. 1996, 2000, he ran as an alternative Republican, but never really had a shot. Neither did Millstone's Frederick Frelinghuysen, Elizabeth's Benjamin Gitlow, or Princeton's Robert Stockton. They're all footnotes to presidential campaign history. And now it's Governor Christie's turn. Will history line him up with Edward Edwards and Joel Parker as New Jersey governors who ran and lost? Or does he follow the one, the only one, to win?
Let's get the shaking hands.
They gathered recently at the Metuchen Country Club to dedicate the Edison Hole. The 15th looked much different 130 years ago when it was the end of the line for Thomas Edison's railroad.
This man was about innovation. Sometimes people only know about the light bulb, and there was so much more to the man.
Of his 1,093 patents, one covered an electric train. The tracks went from his Menlo Park headquarters on Christie Street across town, some 2.5 miles in all. In 1882, electricity was in its infancy. Edison built the train to show its many potential uses.
If you're going to build expensive power plants that are mostly selling light at night, you want to be able to sell power during the day. And so electric railways were one of the things they thought about.
He was trying to find other uses for electricity so he could, build his own business.
Retracing where the railroad went through Edison, if you live on Farmhaven, Grove, or Calvert, you live on historic ground. And while it's all houses and neighborhoods now, back in the 1880s, this was all open land, and the railroad came to an end at what is now the Metuchen Country Club. All that's left, a small section of the rail, a few spikes, and in West Orange, the old chassis from the train itself. Today, electric trains run continually up and down the Northeast Corridor. Edison's electric train was ahead of its time. Of course, the same can be said about the Wizard of Menlo Park.
This is important. This is part of our history, and it's a really important part because it was the place where the future was being created.
We'll look at anything.
Old clocks, sketches, diamond watches, even a wine press. Bring it on Mondays from 10 till 2. You really don't know what's going to walk in the door.
We have no idea. We have no idea.
It's like opening up a package and you don't know what's in it.
Julie Locke brought in her mother's jade ring. After some internet sleuthing, they're really good at that here, by the way. The verdict?
$2,000 to $3,000.
Oh, now I'm going to go back to my drawer of other jewelry of my mother's and come back again.
There are happy endings, but there's disappointment too. Bruno Isonia brought in a painting.
It's been laying around the closet. I go, let me see what it's worth.
After a careful check of the artist, it was worth only a couple $100. But the idea is to give a reliable estimate, and then if people want to sell it, Nye will include it in an online auction.
With the rise of shows like Pickers and Antiques Roadshow and these appraisal services, people love coming in and finding out what they've got.
Even if the experts have no idea what they've got. They see 10,000 items a year. They can't know the price of everything, but that's where detective work comes in.
That's exactly what it is. Yes, you're putting things together.
A good appraiser knows what they don't know, and if we don't know, we know who to call.
A book of Matisse paintings had them stumped for a while on the Monday we were there. In the end, it was found to be very rare and worth $3,000 to $5,000.
New Jersey isn't unique, but I would say it's special in the sense that it's in the greater metropolitan area of the biggest city in America, so there is a wealth of material here.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.